Hi, this is just a little bit of a run through the electrics on my layout. Quite complex really, considering it's just a layout, it's just trains, but I'll run you through anyway. So start off with, we've got incoming all up here, so they all come from the main panel, which I'll take you through after. This little board up here ain't actually in use and will probably be taken out. That was a booster. Doesn't seem to work with my current system, so I'm going to have to take that out. Moving on, we've got relays which are connected to point decoders, so I can run higher current or higher voltage or lower voltage devices from these. I've got it currently connected up for 12 volt lighting. Obviously not sure what the current will be on that just yet. Up here, the top here, there is two auto reverse loops, auto reverse boards for the auto reverse loops that I've got, so trains come back on a parallel line, but obviously polarity needs to change, otherwise you'll get a dead short. So that's what they do, they switch the polarity. Here, these boards here, another two to go here yet. Therefore, if there's a short circuit, so what these do is they, rather than knocking the whole of the layout off due to one train either shorting on a point or whatever, it's built into districts which work in line with the detection, which I'll go through in a second. So it stops one district rather than stopping the whole of the layout, so you can still keep trains running while you're dealing with a short circuit. Here we've got a row of point decoders. The first one is connected to the relays that I showed you earlier, and then we've got point decoders here, and then here it's connected up for signals, 2-aspect signals, rather than buying a separate signal board, and only using half of it. So I've got a point decoder there for that instead, and then these two spaces yet to be confirmed. I've got a signal decoder here. All these are just terminal boards, so rather than converting it to a ribbon cable and soldering onto a ribbon cable, the ribbon cable connects to these, and from there you can just wire out like this one here. So that's a Digitrax signal decoder, that. And then here we've got two detection boards. This one's completely occupied now, just needs tidying up. And then this one, as you can see here, there's still quite a few slots available, which I will be filling as time goes on. And then these are for transponders. So what these do is I put a Digitrax equipped train on the track, and I can press a find button on the controller and it'll tell me exactly which section that train is in. So if you know the train's on the track somewhere on hidden lines or whatever, you can press find button, it'll tell you exactly where it is. It's handy, not really used it much. It's more of a gimmick if anything for me at the moment, because all my layout runs on Railroad and Co Silver, so I tend to park the trains up, turn the computer off, and when I turn it back on, it tells me exactly where they are. There's still a lot more to add to this panel yet. I'm probably going to stick another detection board up here, not quite decided as yet. At the moment, obviously I've not filled this, and these are about £120 each anyway, so they're not cheap. So it'll take a bit of saving to buy one to have up there. So main focus at the moment is getting it all operational. From that, I'll move you on to the other board. I believe I've covered everything. If I haven't covered everything, by all means just drop me a message and ask me questions, and if it relates to any point in the video Just make sure you put the timestamp in it so I can go back and have an idea of what your question relates to. So right, I'll move you over to the next board now. So here we are on the next board, the next panel. The previous panel was just under there, so it's under the layout, tucked over in the corner, out of sight, out of mind. It's not going to get knocked, and it is accessible. It is on hinges as well, which I forgot to mention. So all the wiring goes behind it, so it just tidies it up and looks a bit better. Hence why all the wires disappear behind. But it is on hinges, so I can, like a door, open it up and pull wires through. Anyway, let's get to this one. So I'm running a Digitrack system. This is a DB150. And obviously the handheld. I have got a Digitrack Zephyr as well, which is connected up, which is at the other side of the layout, which I'm going to plan to use for shunting and so on. So that's at the other side anyway. So this button here is the kill button. That kills the whole of the layout. So I'll just demonstrate for you. So that's it. Everything's off now. No power to anything. Even the controller goes off, and the Digitrack. So that's the master on switch. I'm thinking of maybe having a proper rotary switch or something a bit more fancy, and just to look better really. But this does the job. So that powers everything back up. Here you've got your panels here for obviously plugging your walkabout controllers onto. This controller I have modified with a switch which turns the battery on and off. So obviously it's on now. If I just flick the switch over, kills it, so it's not on all the time. I've got these two plugs here are connected to the DCC, so when I'm cleaning trains I just plug some cables in that I've got brushes on and whatever, so I can clean trains on the desk rather than having to run cables and all sorts. It's just there. It's easy, quick to hand, because obviously the desk is here. I've got this temperature sensor here, temperature controller, which is connected to a temperature sensor. That tells me how hot the loft is. That is just for fans that are inside the panel itself. Just keep all components cool. I also link up another fan which I have on the desk, just to blow cool air at me, or blow warm air at me. And I have got other looks in this loft, so I can open that up as well and let air circulate and try to keep it cool. As you can see, it is quite warm, and it is set at 29 degrees C, so it's not set right. I just turned it up to stop all fans running, but I could turn it down. Let's see what happens there. So we're set at 20 degrees. So you can hear the fan kicking in now. I don't know if you can hear that. Hopefully you can hear that. Just turn it off. There we go. So yeah, that just blows a bit of cool air onto the component. So I'll just open this up. It is an absolute rat's nest in here at the moment. You will have to bear in mind that all the layout is still work in progress at the moment. So there is a lot more work to be done. Obviously this is the back, obviously recycling old layout board from earlier layout, obviously foam underlay and set track and everything else that you'd want to wish for a train set. Obviously all the wiring and so on for the switches and everything on front. Then you come into here. So I've got a loco buffer. That's for the layout control. And then I've got a Sprog 2 here for programming, so I can program and run trains at the same time, which if I just shut this door, that's what this button's for. So there's a section of track which I've got for programming. I flick the switch and I can run trains onto it, program and everything. So in theory I shouldn't have to take any trains off the track, but obviously you do. So obviously got all these terminals here. Conduit there just for high alt cabling. Terminals again here. Like I say, it's an absolute rat's nest in here. It does need tidying, but no point tidying it now when there's still a lot more work to be done. So I've got a 16 volt, don't know if you can see it there, 16 volt AC transformer. That is for the point coders, it requires them. I've got a bank of fuses down here, down here. Currently there's only one fuse in, but eventually I will build up the fuses because I want to obviously protect everything on the layout. The current fuse in there at the moment is for the DCC controller, so that it's got a 3 amp fuse in. It's rated at 3 amps, so if it goes above 3 amp it'll just blow a fuse rather than blowing anything up in the controller itself. This is a 24 volt power supply that powers the DCC controller. It's between 18 and 24 volts, so it's right at the top of its maximum voltage input to the controller, but it were surplus to requirement anyway, so just taken it and reused it rather than having to go out and buy one. You've got a relay here which is for killing the 240 volts, which isn't connected up as yet but will be eventually. And then all the 12 volts, 5 volts, everything is run off this PC power supply. Great for 12 volts because it's high. It's about 10 amp is that rated at for 12 volts, and then you've got 5 volts for anything else that wants to run at 5 volts. There's 3.3 volts, there's minus 12 volts and minus 5 volts, I believe. I could be wrong, but I use that mainly for the 12 volts. That's about it really. I mean, if you have any more questions, by all means just drop me a message and I'll try my best to get back to you. But as for the control, that's it. So thanks for watching and I will catch you again.